Welcome. In front of me is a Samsung Galaxy Z Flip4, and today I'll show you how we can go through the setup process of this phone. So when you boot it up for the very first time, you should be presented with this screen right over here. Now, I will be honest, this will not be exactly one-to-one comparison if you literally just unboxed your phone, because I have already done the initial setup once, and this does make a difference throughout the setup process. Mainly, number one, I am not forced to connect to Wi-Fi, which if the device for you is absolutely brand new, you are forced to do so, otherwise you cannot finish up the setup for no effing reason. And number two, the device needs to reboot, which again, I won't have to do. Once you connect to a network, because you have to, you need to reboot the device. So those will be the differences. Now I'll mention when that happens, so let's get started. So number one, you will then start off by selecting your desired language. I have already went through the setup just a little bit, so some of the things will be selected, but find the language that you want to utilize from the list, select it, and then click on next. This will then take you to the inserting of a mobile SIM card. So it strictly asks to connect to mobile network. If you want to, you can pop in a SIM card and connect to it. That will then not force you to connect to Wi-Fi, because you will be getting network from SIM card. But if you don't put in a SIM card, or if you don't have mobile network on it, then you will have to connect to Wi-Fi. Now here, some privacy policy agreement that you need to obviously agree to. So select the first box and then go to the next page. And here we have network connection. So like I mentioned, here you'd have to connect to it, and you don't have most likely the next button. I am already connected, so it doesn't really matter. But if you are on this page, connect to network, go to the next page, and this will then allow you to set up a eSIM if you want to. This phone comes only with a one SIM tray, so you can put a physical card in here. But if you want to utilize two cards, you would then have to also utilize the eSIM as well. Now, I'm not planning to use that at all, so I'm gonna select skip, and again, skip. It's gonna start checking for updates. It should take just a brief moment. There we go. And next page, we can copy apps and data. Now, this is strictly through Google account, meaning that it would require you to create a backup on Google Drive. But I'm not planning to restore it, so I'm going to be setting it up as new by selecting Don't Copy. Now we do have the option to log into our Google account. Now if for some odd reason you manage to skip Wi-Fi connection, possibly because the device is not brand new, then you can sign in here, but if you decided to skip Wi-Fi, you won't see this page at all. But if you see this, you can log in. Obviously you will have network connection if you see this. Now I'm going to be skipping it. Now next page we have Google services. We have things like location, scanning, and sending user and diagnostic data. You can read exactly what these do by tapping on this drop down arrow right here, and if you don't like them, you can disable all of them if you want to. As you can see, from there scroll down and select accept. This will then allow you to choose your preferred search engine. As you can see, we do have a fairly decent list of different engines. We have spot number one, Microsoft Bing, for some stupid reason. But yeah, select whichever one you like to use. I'm gonna choose the vanilla one, Google. And this will take you to setting up a screen lock. Now you can set up face recognition, pattern, or not pattern, fingerprint, pattern, PIN, or password. And I'm gonna go a little bit deeper into this. So if you're planning to utilize any of these two first ones, face recognition or fingerprint, you are also forced to set up PIN, pattern, or password. You can only choose one of those three. And the reason for that is if you set up, for instance, your fingerprint and you cut your finger, you would lose access to your phone. Thus, this would leave you an option to unlock your device using pattern, PIN, or password. And same goes for face recognition, though if you set up both of those, you still need to set up PIN, pattern, or password. And additionally, if you set up right now, and anyone to actually use something like fingerprint or face recognition, then start off by selecting that instead of pin, pattern, and password, because once you choose, for instance, pattern, it just tells you set up a pattern, and once you do so, off you go to the next step, and you cannot go back here. So you'd have to then fiddle around with the settings to add fingerprint or face recognition. Now, for people that don't really care about protecting their device, you can obviously skip it right over here. Now this will then give us some review additional apps. So here we have a bunch of Samsung apps. By default, they will all be installed, or not installed, but selected. So when you tap on OK, it will start installing them. But if you deselect them, the phone will just kind of tell you, okay, I guess you don't want those apps, that's fine. Which is actually a really nice thing from Samsung. Now I'm going to be deselecting it. If you want to just couple apps from here, then you can pick and choose them. I do probably recommend, if you utilize calculators from time to time, I do recommend keeping that on, because there is no other calculator application on the phone. So this one will be basically the only one. And let's see if there's anything else. I guess the rest of these applications would be preferential. So as an example, if you use SmartThings, home appliances for smart home, then you might want to check this on. And any kind of other things like Microsoft Outlook or whatever else you use, do check it on. If you don't use anything else here, I probably recommend keeping all of them off. It will save you a little bit of storage on your phone. And this will bring us to the Samsung account. So Samsung will want you to log in. If you plan to use any of their application, for instance like the Samsung Wallet or Galaxy Store, or maybe some other applications strictly from Samsung, then you will need to log in. Obviously, if you open that application that will require the account, it will prompt you to log in, and that will log you into basically everything else on your phone. It's kind of acting like a iCloud account if you ever use an iPhone. Once you log into your iCloud, it works in any other application. And if you want to skip this, you can select skip, and this will bring out the little window right here, skip out on all of this. Now, I'm gonna quickly go into this as though I don't really consider most of these apps to be worth your time, or maybe not apps, but features. So all of them have a alternative in Google, or from Google, that most likely has been out for longer and probably is more polished than what Samsung offers. Though I might be wrong, I just recently started using a Samsung, so I'm still kind of getting into it. So anyway, starting off, Samsung Cloud, Google Cloud, Bixby, Hey Google, Galaxy Themes, Play Store. Though this is specifically for theming, Play Store is all around just apps and all that stuff. Includes themes as well as launchers. Find My Mobile, Find My Device, Samsung Pass, Google Passwords, Galaxy Store, again Play Store, Secure Folder. This might be the only thing that is actually unique to just this phone, where I don't think Google has some alternative to it, but I might be wrong. So I'm just gonna give a +1 that this is a unique one that has no rivalry. And additionally, because this is Samsung, it is using Knox security, so this actually might be a little bit more secure, even if there is a Google alternative of this. And last thing would be Samsung members, expert support, community connections, and blah blah blah, just some probably useless stuff. Maybe if it includes some warranty in there, support, then that would be great, but you can log into it at any point once you need that application. So skip. Now this will take us to Samsung services. So we have a bunch of services. You can read exactly what these do, and if you don't like some of them, turn them off. But from there, go to the next page, which gives you this nice list of things not to do with your phone. Now I'm gonna quickly go into these and sarcastically explain them. Number one, don't press too hard on your display. It's made out of plastic, so any kind of hard objects will damage it, because it's still made out of plastic after 4 generations. Oh, sorry, it's technically, super thin glass. it acts like plastic, so I'm gonna call it plastic. Next thing, don't put anything between your phone when you folding it. Even cards, it's not advised apparently, even though, let me quickly check something. It still has a relatively big space right here. I think even if you put in a card in here, it just falls through, so it might be a little bit dumb to do it if you don't want to lose it. But still, don't put anything between. The obvious reason for that is if you put something that might be a little bit too big and you close the phone, it will just kind of get smooshed between the two displays, and that's no bueno. That's gonna damage your display. Now, next thing is the dust resistant. Now, this phone has 0 dust resistant, which is probably to do with hinges. You do have hinges right here, so if any kind of like dust, sand, or stuff like that gets in there, it won't be a fun experience of your phone anymore. So I probably wouldn't take it to the beach if you tend to go there. And hopefully you have maybe some throwaway phone that you can just grab with you, and just in case, because this one I wouldn't take it. And the sand might be your worst enemy. Next thing is IPX8 water resistance. Now this is one of the not very many foldable devices that has water resistance. So just to clarify this, Fold 4 and Flip 4 have water resistant, and Flip 3 and Fold 3 also have water resistance. And these are the only phones on the market that at the moment of recording this have any kind of water resistance. That is also one of the reasons why your hinge has this, or not hinge, but your display has this massive crease, is because apparently Samsung cannot figure out how to make the other hinges, the water drop hinges, waterproof. So we get a crease, but we do have water resistance. Now, I'll also clarify this for people that might not be aware of this. Water resistance only refers to fresh water or pure water. If you're planning to take it into like an ocean where you have salty water, then your phone gets damaged. Don't have any hopes for warranty support, because they will know that you most likely took it and basically decided to drench it in salty water, which probably could cause the damage, and they will void your warranty because of that. So something to keep in mind. You can take showers with the phone, but probably going into an ocean where you have salt water is not the greatest idea. Now, next thing, we have the sticker or protective layer on the phone. Even though it looks like a protective layer, Samsung is telling you not to take it off. And if you ever seen foldables at like their first generation, they also had these screen protectors, but if you wanted to peel them off, the screen just went dead instantly. And I think in a second generation it also tended to die as well. But from a third generation of foldables, even though this is still here, apparently Samsung claims that you can replace it yourself. Samsung themselves apparently does it for free the first time around, and each subsequent exchange or replacement of the screen protective layer will cost you $20. So at least that's nice. And I'll clarify one more thing. When it comes down to replacing it yourself, Samsung technically, at least I heard that they claim you can do it yourself, but because it gives you this pop-up, I would recommend you to make absolutely, go talk to them, call the Samsung support, and make sure, get their quote if you can do it or not, because like I said, I literally just got into Samsung ecosystem, so I have no idea. I've heard you can do it, but I'm not absolutely certain about it. And last thing would be the phone has magnets, so don't keep it anywhere near anything that might be affected by magnets. If you have a hard drive somewhere that might have some important content on it, you might not want to put that phone on top of it because it might damage the hard drive because it has magnets. And additionally, pacemakers and stuff like that, you probably might want to keep it away from like the front packet if you have some kind of pacemaker. So yeah, basically anything that can be affected by magnets, keep it away from it. And that finishes up the grocery list of things not to do. So select next, and we can now finish it off. So there we go. So anyway, if you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and thanks for watching.